I'm Mrs. Divya dealing with the chapter 1 reproduction in organisms, and this is the third lecture. So previously in the last video we have discussed about different types of sexual reproduction in plants, and the next type we are going to discuss in this lecture is about vegetative propagation, which is also a mode of asexual reproduction. Generally in plants, asexual reproduction can also be particularly called as the vegetative propagation. So let us see what is this vegetative propagation. It is a process of multiplication in which a part or the fragment of the plant gets detached, and under suitable conditions it develops into an independent plant. Okay, so here parts of the plant other than the flower, such as the roots, stem, leaves, etc., any of these, they may grow into an individual plant body. Okay, so such mode is said to be vegetative propagation, that is reproduction by the vegetative parts of the plant. Okay, and here these structures which are involved in this propagation, they are called as the vegetative propagules. So it might be examples like bud, tuber, rhizome, many different modifications you have studied. So based on that, the types of vegetative propagation we can consider as to be in roots, which is called as a vegetative propagation by roots. It may take place by the stem also, vegetative propagation by leaves, vegetative propagation by bulbils. Okay, so these are some of the kinds how vegetative propagation may take place. So let us see one by one what is this vegetative propagation by roots. Students, you have studied different types of root modifications where both that is previously in PU1 you have discussed, right? So both tap roots and adventitious roots, they take part in vegetative propagation. So some of the examples we can give is plants like tapioca, sweet potato, dahlia, okay, asparagus, so etc. All these they develop, that is all these are nothing but tap roots which develop adventitious buds to form new plants. Okay, so here in these the root tubers, that is they are also, the roots here are modified for storage purpose, and along with that, as they bear adventitious buds here, right, so those adventitious buds they develop into, they give out leafy shoots, and then they get detached from the parent body and they start growing independently. Okay, so this is vegetative propagation in roots. Next, coming to the vegetative propagation by stem. So different types of underground stem structures we can study here which take part in vegetative propagation. So in most of the plants, generally stem is the main source of vegetative propagation. You might have seen, for example, the rose plant, hibiscus, the stem cuttings can be used, right? So vegetative propagation by the stem, it can be done with the help of the underground stem. So last year we have studied about the underground stem modifications such as the tubers, bulbs, corms, right? So here then you have that, those are the underground modifications. Then you have studied the subaerial stem modifications also, then the aerial stem modifications. So let us see one by one what are these. So the underground stem modifications, children, such as mainly these, they are modified for storage purpose, and along with that they also help in pollination as well as vegetative propagation. Okay, so examples we can give us such as rhizome. So in rhizome you can see, that is examples for rhizome is ginger, turmeric you have. So here you can find the stem grows horizontally beneath the soil, right, and it develops scale leaves. Yes, then they bear what buds, adventitious buds, right, so which have the capacity to grow into a new plant. Then another example you have tuber, that is potato is an example. The spots, the notches on the potato are called as the eyes, so which give rise to, which has the capability to sprout, right, so they bear adventitious buds. Then you have bulbs like onion, garlic. So here you can see they have two types of leaves. The fleshy leaves are modified for storage of food. Then they have the scale leaves present. Then the adventitious buds, they give rise to the adventitious roots below, and the leafy shoot develops above. Then you have corm. So example for corm is Amorphophilus, gladiolus. So this is almost similar to rhizome. Rhizome grows horizontally. These are growing vertically. They are bulged, swollen structures growing beneath the soil. Yes. So these buds here, you can see of the underground stem, the buds, they get detached from the parent body and they develop into new independent plants. Then next you have the subaerial or the creeping stem modifications. So among stem subaerial modifications, you have studied runner, stolon, offset, right? So one example here you can see the new shoot which is called as the crown, right? So it develops, and when it is cut, it grows into a new independent plant. So examples, that is runner, that is the common example for runner is grass. Then suckers, you have example mint, chrysanthemum. See the stem, you can see here children, the roots they grow below the soil, the tap roots, and then above the main stem it gives out many different branches, and you can see here the branches of the stem, they grow horizontally on the soil surface. That is why we call subaerial modification, right? So it grows horizontally on the soil, then it suddenly it goes above, that is it starts developing vertically. So the stem which has grown horizontally, which is placed on the soil, it starts giving rise to adventitious roots. So this is called as sucker. Then you have stolon, example strawberry. Then offset, you have, these are aquatic plants. One good example for offset is pistia, or also commonly called as water lettuce. So here you can see a tuft of roots grows below, that is underneath in the water, and you can see a cluster of leaves growing above, right? So then one of the stem, that is a branches, it starts growing horizontally. Again it gives rise to a tuft of roots below and a cluster of leaves above. So that is called as offset. Okay, so they produce new shoots, or the new shoots are generally called as crowns. So once they are grown, they detach and they start developing into a new plant. See this, I think most of you might have seen growing in the Unkal lake. You might have observed continuously these plants are growing. Yes, so what is this plant children? It is nothing but commonly called as the water hyacinth. Okay, it is also an example for offset. It is an aquatic plant. So it is, the scientific name is Eichhornia. Eichhornia crassipes is one of the commonly grown species, which is, as I told you, commonly called as the water hyacinth, or they are called as the water weeds. So this plant was actually, initially, it is not originated in India. It is taken from the American country, America. So this was brought from America to India to beautify our lakes. Okay, so first it was introduced in Bengal, in the lakes of Bengal, because of its beautiful flowers. You can see the beautiful flowers to beautify the lakes, but they started growing so tremendously that it became a nuisance to the lakes. Okay, so that is why they are called as the scourge of water bodies. Okay, or commonly called as the terror of Bengal. This is the name given to it because, as I told you, it was first introduced in Bengal. So there it started destroying the lakes of Bengal, because continuously these grow enormously, right, completely covering the water body. The rate of its multiplication is more than the rate of its destruction. That is, how much ever you go on cutting it, it goes multiplying. Okay, that is why. So instead of beautifying the lakes, they became a terror to the lakes. So that is why they are called as the terror of Bengal. Okay, so why they are called as terror? Because it starts draining of all the oxygen from the water, so that leads to the death of the fishes. Okay, because it consumes all the oxygen, it grows enormously, and the water becomes oxygen deficient, so that leads to the death of fishes, right? That is why it is called as terror of Bengal. Remember this point. Next, coming to the vegetative propagation by aerial stem. So many such aerial stem modifications are there. So in some plants, aerial stems, they replace the leaves. Okay, so that is one example is phylloclades we have, right? So here the stem, it's that is the leaf is absent. Such aerial stems, they are produced by the plants which are found in soil, and they have very little water content. So generally the cactus also, they are called as the phylloclades, right? So their stem itself is modified for photosynthesis. Okay, and the leaves, they are modified into spines there. So that is one stem modifications. So there it is meant for storage, right? And that also helps in vegetative propagation. Then as I told you, cactus, like the Opuntia cereus, all these are examples for aerial stem modification. Then another good example, we have vegetative propagation by leaves. So leaves of many plants, they have adventitious buds, and they help in vegetative propagation. That is at the margins of the leaves. One example is begonia. Then we have a very common example we give is bryophyllum, right? So here the bryophyllum leaf, they grow buds at the marginal notches, right? So at the margins of the leaves, notches are present. So there you can see adventitious buds develop, and small plantlets start growing at the margin. Okay, so when these leaves, they get detached from the plant body and they fall on the ground, so these small plantlets, they start growing into a new plant. So that is one example we can give. So this is also many a times asked children for one mark also. That is given example for vegetative propagation by leaves, that is bryophyllum. You can give the example. Then we have bulbils. So what are these bulbils? So these are multicellular fleshy buds. So they also help in vegetative propagation. Okay. So where these bulbils grow? So they generally grow on the stem itself. See, small buds, fleshy buds. So they may grow on at the axil of the leaves or at the axil of the stem, right? So example one, you have Allium sativum, that is bulbs is one example, agave, pineapples, right? So here children, and in Glabra bulbifera, that is one of the examples. So there the inflorescence itself becomes modified into small multicellular bodies called as the bulbils. So these bulbils, they get detached from the parent plant and they grow into the new plant body. Next, so these were some different modes of natural vegetative propagation what you have studied. So nowadays, horticulturists, to quickly multiply the desired varieties of plants from the parts of their somatic body or the vegetative body, what they do is they go for artificial vegetative propagation. Okay, that is, the vegetative propagation is induced. The propagation is induced in the vegetative parts of the plant. Okay, so that is called as artificial vegetative propagation. So there are different types of this artificial vegetative propagation, and the main objective of this is to improve the economic crops. That is, you can get the desired varieties, and many ornamental plants can be grown by this means. Okay, so which are the types? I'll tell you. There are mainly three types. One is cutting, layering. Okay, so here first one, we'll see what is cutting. Cutting in the sense, any vegetative part of the plant is cut, that is such as the root, stem or the leaves. Here they are used for vegetative propagation. and any of these part is cut and it is sown as it is to grow into a new plant body. Next one, we'll see what is layering. So here any of the lower branch is made to bend down and a ring of bark is removed. It is buried into the soil from which the roots arise, and then it is cut off from the parent plant and grown independently. Here if you observe any of the branches of the stem, it is made to bend down and grow horizontally beneath the soil. Okay, so when and here the bark of the stem, a small ring of it is cut, okay, so that the conducting tissues are exposed, right? So here you can see when it starts growing horizontally, it gives adventitious buds. So roots start developing from there, small plantlets arise. So these, when they are cut, once they have grown, when they are cut from the parent plant, they start growing independently. So this process is called as layering. Again, many different types of layering are there, such as mound layering, air layering, etc. Then the third method is grafting. Okay, so here grafting in the sense two different plants are joined, joining two different plants. Okay, so I'll show you how. So here the one which is inserted, the branch which is inserted is called as the graft, or it is called as the scion. The main stem, that is which is rooted, is called as the stalk. Okay, so as I told you here, the one which is rooted is called as the stalk, the main one. The one which is attached to it, it might be any other plant. So by this you can get desired varieties. Okay, so the one which is attached to it is called as the graft or the scion, right? So the parts of that grafting, they are the stalk and scion. So it grows retaining all its qualities. So the stalk here, that is the rooted one, it supports the plant by supplying food and water. The upper one, that is the scion, it grows as it is, as its qualities are there. Okay, so these are the two types, that is natural and artificial methods of vegetative propagation. Children, in detail they have not given about this artificial vegetative propagation in your NCERT textbook, but they have mentioned about it, about the use of that artificial propagation, and this is also helpful for your entrance exams. Okay, so this is about the vegetative propagation. So these were the types of asexual reproduction. Hope you have understood. In the next video we'll discuss what is sexual reproduction. Okay, so thank you everyone.